Hi, Sherry Blair here. Do you work in an environment where you feel every time you turn around as a leader or a frontline manager, that every time you turn around you feel like you are dealing with resistance at every moment? That every time something needs to be done, that you're getting pushback or your performance and productivity is down, your numbers are not there, that you don't have the cooperation that you would like to see, or you've had this great idea and you know it will make a better climate or a better work environment for people, but yet you can't seem to make it hook. You can't seem to make it stick. You can't get it further. Or you got it going and it seemed to be doing really well, but then it just floundered. Well, there's a lot of reasons why that happens. And I know that for myself. It took me a while and many years of experience through many industries. I come from a working class background. I have worked in, you can't imagine. I've done it. I've done so many things. I have scrubbed people's dirty toilets. I have babysat. I was like, I had a side hustle, or it was my main hustle, I should say. Here I was 8 years old, babysitting, and I think most of my neighbors thought I was much older. But I found out it was a way that I could make some money in it, and that was really great. So I remember working for CVS when I was in high school, and my boss thought I was much older, and then he said, "Oh my gosh, we're going to get in trouble. You're not even old enough to be working past 6 o'clock." So, and then the story goes on and on. I've bartended, I've short order cooked, I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in hotels, I've opened restaurants. I have worked in the corporate world, in sales and engineering. I have worked in insurance. So I could go on and on. And then I actually got into the world of working in behavioral health. And when I saw that I came up with all these challenges myself, like, oh, I want to make this great work environment, and oh, I found out about this, let's do this, and thinking everybody is just going to follow along because I thought it was a great idea. Well, my intention and my heart was in the right place, but I had to get my mind in concert with my heart, right? I had to get the strategies going. It even propelled me to go further on to get a degree in industrial organizational psychology, so I could actually understand organizational development and human behavior in the workplace. I had a pretty good sense of human behavior in life, studying psychology in my first degree, and I knew that I needed more of a focus on understanding human behavior in the workplace. And then on top of that, I went on to say, what is going on? People know they would like to work in a better environment, and they know this thing would be a great thing to do, but there's this pushback. They're pushing back, or they're resistant, or they're too stressed. Another thing that I started learning about and seeing was when I was out doing training as a consultant, or walking into organizations or businesses where I was hired to come in to help them solve a problem, and I could feel the energy. I could feel this energy of when it was healthy, that was great. But I could also feel when it wasn't so healthy, that negative environment, people maybe gossiping was an issue, or people not knowing how to manage the gossipers, if you will, or an environment that felt extremely stressed and chaotic. So all these years later, finding out all these things, and then finding, the exact recipe is what is needed when we're looking at change, is ultimately everything is about change. It's why I named my business that has the name in it, Inspirational Change, because I realized no matter what I was doing with anyone, I was inspiring them to change. But it's not so like warm and fuzzy, like, oh, inspiring change. Inspiring change means we have to find out what you need to change, what you want to change, and then we have to take clear steps in order to make that happen. And you can't rush through them. You can't skip over them, because if you do, you're just going to fail. Do you know that 60 to 80% of change initiatives fail because leaders fail to prepare for change? You can actually take that down to us as individuals. I was so inspired myself by this model that I found that I actually did translate it for individual use, because what I would find is when I'm working with organizations and teams that sometimes there was one person that really needed their own personal work. They needed to do their own work because their own issues were getting in the way of the team. But looking at the team, they really needed to have a leader and people in position, power, and a whole group that was going to make this happen. And I just love that because that's the spirit of collaboration, et cetera, et cetera. So you need to be extremely strategic about taking these steps if you want to be successful. And let's face it, everybody who wants to be unsuccessful? Everybody wants to be successful. And if we don't keep up with what's going on with change, because of the global economy, because of software changes, regulatory compliance, etc. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's always some level of change that needs to happen. And I thought a lot about this, and I was like, gosh, I'm seeing so many people, whether I was working with them individually in whatever capacity, or working with teams, or working with organizations, or just working with my own group of people in my institute. I realized that we have to really embrace the process of change. And while we want to rush it, we're getting nowhere by rushing it. And again, that goes to us individually. Think about that, right? You have a goal, and it's maybe going to take, I don't know, I always use the weight loss thing, right? Like, oh, I need to lose like 60 pounds. Well, you can't lose 60 pounds in 30 days. You might need to work for 30 days on changing your darn mindset on what you need to do to lose 60 pounds. You know where I'm coming from now? So my quest is to inspire you to know that if you learn these steps, and my spin on it is putting in positive change, because they go together beautifully, like delicious bread and butter, right? If you learn these, or when you learn these, you're giving yourself a gift for life, because every single time that you have some new change initiative that you need to work on, all you need to do are apply these steps, and you're going to keep the positivity up, which helps improve performance and productivity. There's so much research now showing that happier employees are really performing higher, and that's what employees want. There's so much that we get into around that. So making this investment is really something that you need to do in order to free up more of your time, in order to increase your numbers, so that you are having a higher profitability. Or if you're a nonprofit, you're keeping people coming in because they're happy with your organization. So whatever it is for you, nonprofit, for-profit, corporation, social entrepreneur, at the end of the day, if we don't understand change, and if we don't keep up with change, which we need to, we're going to be dying out. And that's what happens. If you're not growing and changing, you're kind of dying out and phasing out. So I would love to be working with you. I was so excited about creating this mastermind. I created amazing materials with a colleague, Ali Gardner from Scotland. We created these materials. I've worked on other materials with my other colleagues, Connie Mazzullo, Tony Ann Lafrano, and other amazing people. And I would just love to share this mastermind with you. We realized that while you could go and take the course, it's not what you need as a first step. So in my own work, in my own knowledge of knowing that it's preparation that's key, that's why I want to spend these 2 days with you. I want to be with you. I want to be in your space with you. And I want to help walk you through the preparation that you need to then go back and take the course and work through it in your organization. So join us. I'm having this opportunity with a current event coming up. I can't wait. It's going to be in November in New Mexico. I would love to see you there. And so you just got to sign up down below. And if you think you're not ready for the course yet but want to do the 2-day with me, hey, that's great. That's you being strategic. I love that. That's you being realistic about, am I going to be able to do the course as soon as I go back? So whatever it is that you want to do, like if you want to join the whole thing, hey, that's great. If you just want to do the 2 days, come on, join us. Join right below. Just click and we will see you in November in New Mexico.